Yes, it is, Elderberry. Yes, it is. Alright, those guys exist to die. I'm not going to shoot them. They're going to be killed by the Time Ghost. Okay, maybe I am gonna kill them. What a waste. They could have been fodder. How did they even have time to throw a grenade? Whoa. I'm not a huge fan of burst fire. Maybe I should switch weapons again. Ow, for crying out loud. That does not seem to work. Do I need to let go of the run button in order to shoot? And now I'm out of run. Standing with his back to the wall. That's obnoxious. I mean, it makes sense. You switch to the shotgun. I cannot actually. I need to end the run in order to pull out my gun, apparently. The way stuff is breaking slowly is also really cool. Oh, I guess it's not that slow. Oh, you know what? I should finish the run and then dash so I get the slow motion. Is that how that works? That's probably a good idea. Oh, that's a much better idea. That was supposed to be a dash. They decided not to give it to me. Out of bullets. No fair! He freaking turned. He turned in the stop time. Is he Dio? This is also not working. My dash strategy worked out great the one time. Alright, I guess I'm gonna stop. No. It's gotta work. The dash has got to work. Finally. It turns so quickly. Try the shotgun again. That must be my problem. I just need to use the shotgun instead. Ow. This game really hates me and wants me to be sad. This cover is doing absolutely nothing. I should stop even pretending. If I dash, it's like it's hard coded to make sure that you use the run. If you dash past, as soon as you dash, he instantly turns around. But I got him the one time. Okay.
I gotta get the countermeasure. The Monarch PR machine was going strong. The public believed that they were doing what the police force couldn't. Protecting them from a terrorist threat. From...
you.
Useful attain critical mass. Useful idiots will take over trolling. Oh, internet.
Fiona, I'm trying to get to the Skybridge.
Skybridge. Good marketing right now. That's okay. Yeah, I think I got it. Hey, Jack, be careful. There's something really weird going on in this building.
Monarch was scrambling. Paul's empire was falling apart all around me. I'd never seen anything like it. But Paul had. That's what he was preparing for all those years.
Uh-oh.
He didn't do a very good job.
Game froze for a minute there, but we're okay. Oh, they froze because they wanted to make sure that I saw the Nissan sign.
Pretty sure they didn't even scratch that thing. Holy shit.
What?
They have a time machine here? Shit. This is where they brought the university core. This is Paul's machine. Looks like they have it on the top floor.
Sir, I know you won't have a chance to read this email until you return to HQ. This is from someone we've never heard of before. Oh, this is the guy who was just talking to Martin Hatch. Deactivated the server. I had maintenance. I used it. I wanted to know I did it under tremendous duress. Threatened my family. I don't know. There are shifters out there. Starter proofing is gone. I don't have a chrono harness, so technically I'm safe. When those hits, I freeze just like the rest of the world. Thank you for explaining to Paul Serene what a stutter is and how shifters work. Ozone, I guess. I don't know if I can hold it together much longer. I don't know why Hatch wanted this to happen, but he did. I think he wants the CFR for some reason. You can't trust that fucker, sir. I know you're close, but I think he's as evil as they come. We haven't found any power-ups in a while. They used to be all over the place.
What the fuck? Was that Hatch? The train.
All personnel, stay clear of the lower levels. There's a possible hazard. Repeat, stay clear of the lower levels. There appears to be a train crashed into the building. The situation is under control. All personnel should remain in secure areas. There are intruders in the building. Repeat, remain in secured areas.
Oh, see you later, Ludefix.
You're at Serene's office.
Thank you for coming by.
Just a second, this one's a little tricky. Serene's got access to the CFR chamber, and there's going to be a pretty dangerous guy there guarding. Got it. Just be careful, okay?
I'm always
Paul's already
careful.
gone.
but he left behind the one thing I needed.
I have left this message here for you to find, so that soon, when the time comes, and I ask you to choose, you can do so with your eyes open and with some hint of understanding. I have no secrets, and the only things I choose to omit are the ones that you, in your current limited state, would not be able to grasp, no matter how hard I tried to make you understand. I have walked down the same path you are now on. Once, from your perspective, a long time ago, although time no longer has such meaning to me, I too came in contact with a time machine. In my case, it was not a man-made device, but a natural one in a cave. Is this from Martin? Once, from your perspective, a long time ago, although time no longer has such meaning to me, I too came in contact with a time machine. In my case, it was not a man-made device, but a natural one in a cave. It should come as no surprise, really, that such things exist, much like natural nuclear reactors do exist, such as the now defunct ones at Oklo, Africa. After all, the Meyer-Joyce field has its irregularities. I too became chronon active. I too developed chronon syndrome. And in time, I too lost control and became a shifter, became at once everything and nothing, was everywhere and nowhere, died countless deaths and was still alive, my every probability, every possibility happening at once. I promised I would not lie, and thus I tell you, the noise and the pain and the rage were more than anyone could suffer and not go insane. I burned in this fire for a long time. There were brief moments of awareness in this endless nightmare, different versions of key moments in my life that I found myself reliving again and again, trying to make things right, like a puzzle. Is this a puzzle? On and on and on. I am convinced that the stutters and the end of time saved me, for those were the only places, the only times where I could even briefly stop and rest and slowly find focus and control again, and ultimately master this state. Not emerge from it, not be cured, not go back to what I was before, for there is no such thing, but to learn to be in one place and everywhere at once. My perception is altered, like that of someone who has seen a perceptual illusion and discovered that the picture is both a young girl and an old woman at the same time. Once you see them both, you can never not see them. Like the Funya Rinpa, it all comes full circle. We are such limited beings. We play with just one piece, just one square on an endless chessboard, just one life, one timeline, in an infinite multiverse of possibilities. Am I an exception? The only one who has found his way to the other side, or is this just a shifter's brief dream before a stutter collapses? There are other shifters. You, your best friend, who is now your mortal enemy. Dr. Kim. Others, some of whom you know. It doesn't matter who, because they are gone, and when they emerge, if they ever emerge, they will not be who they were, just as I am not who I was before. I have done my part in helping you all achieve this state. If time is an ocean with a frozen surface, then the stutters and the end of time are holes in that ice, opportunities to come up from air. I have a plan. It's already in motion, but it would be futile to try to explain it to you, like trying to explain 3 dimensions to someone who can only see one. But make no mistake, I do not look down on you. I strive for humility even as I shift this world from one state to another. I will make this possible. I will stand in between. I don't see myself as a gate. I remain humble. I'm something smaller. A hatch. So we finally found out a little bit about Martin. That he came through a natural time phenomenon, became a shifter, and he's trying to explain what that's like, existing in all possibilities at once. And that he is trying to bring about, well, let's get more of the whole picture first.
We have a mission. Prep the chopper.
Ready to lift off in 15, sir. What's the profile?
Full tactical complement. And we're going to need a tech squad for assembly. I'll brief them on the way.
Copy that. Good hunting, sir.
Good hunting. The game hates me now. It wants to give me no power-ups ever.
My office alarm went off. Is that you skulking around, Jack?
Fuck you. I'm done playing games. I'm here for what you stole.
Yes, of course.
The CFR. If you understood just how much depended on that, you'd leave it alone. But I know you don't care.
You're right. I don't. And it looks like you're not here to stop me.
Yes. Yes, everything will play out as it has to play out. I'll see you very soon, Jack.
I'm done dancing your tune, you crazy bastard.
So
It was just a couple of minutes between stutters.
The countermeasure was Paul's prize. Everything he built was based on Will's device. His plan depended on it. You better believe I look forward to taking it from him.
Only one of Serene's treatments survived the explosion. His time was running out.
So was everybody else's. "17 years, he lived through twice. All of it mapped out, from memory.
He knew the market trends before they occurred. He had the tools to make a fortune, and he did.
this would be pretty interesting to read through. I'm not going to, but maybe
I saw
later.
what was coming. It broke him. He refused to believe that it could be changed. And he cast aside the only people who could have convinced him otherwise.
Oh my gosh. Some of these are so long. Paul, Martin, I know you've both been arguing that the Quantum Ripple Causality Research Subdivision has great potential and we should keep it funded. I must once again implore you to reconsider. I'll be the first to admit that the technology is impressive. The fact that Doctors Morphin and Rangers... it sounds mighty powerful. Can track the consequences rippling out from minor shifts within the Meyer-Joyce field is incredible, and the level of informational detail they managed to obtain is amazing. But here's the thing, they've been at this for 2 years now, and they have not produced a single useful result. Yes, we can trace actual events from their small inception point to the actual consequences, very much in keeping with the basic chaos theory concept of the butterfly flapping its wings, but, well, so what? Every single thing that happens in this universe is the result of such a chain of events. Being able to see the chain offers no real insight into anything due to the very randomness of the process. Furthermore, you could say it's utterly misleading. You could say that some tiny event or tiny decision in my life yesterday led to me writing this email. And that's technically true, but so did some tiny event or tiny decision in my life 15 years ago. It's all a chain. The event yesterday didn't take place in a vacuum. It didn't come out of nowhere. So what's the point? We have no control over it. We don't get to direct it. We have no useful information out of it. And also, have you seen the reports they generate? From a technological point of view, the way they manage to automate their analysis of the fluctuation signatures within the Meyer-Joyce field is impressive, but again, it's all meaningless babble with no practical applications. Their personal remarks on the reports are even worse. With all due respect to Ron and Terry and their indisputable technical expertise, I don't know what they're doing, and I'm not sure they do either. It's like they're coming up with stuff at random. The above outlines my concerns as to the futility of the entire process, and I suspect that may not be enough to sway you, but I have one final point which I think you should consider very, very carefully. The entire program is an unforgivable waste of Monarch resources. I don't mean money, although the entire quantum ripple causality research subdivision is costing us millions and millions of dollars, because that doesn't really matter, because I know we can afford that. However, there's a more vital resource they're consuming. Each time they fire up their rig and delve into the Meyer-Joyce field, they eat up a huge amount of chronon particles. Those are a finite resource, and as you know, we are projecting that the Ground Zero's yield will rapidly diminish as the fracture takes hold, which will happen very soon. You may not understand what the real impact of this is, so let me put it to you in practical terms. Every single time they detect and analyze a quantum ripple, it costs us a week of potential lifeboat runtime minimum. Given Monarch's primary purpose and the total lack of useful results, I believe that's a luxury we cannot afford. I recommend shutting them down immediately, or, at the latest, during our next reorg. We can reallocate their resources to something useful and put Ron and Terry's expertise into great use designing the lifeboat. I'm sure we wouldn't regret putting them to work on it, given their track record with working on Chronon Tech. It's an interestingly long email. Is this somehow going to play into the true ending? Alright, speculation time. Going back through the game and doing things differently is somehow, like, eating up the chronon particles so that somehow we get a different ending. I don't know. I didn't think that through entirely. Wait, was there something up there?
Paul was a powerful man, the leader of an empire, but behind the veil, he was a dying man. The signs were clear. Dr. Amaral was the one thing keeping Paul alive, but reading through their exchanges, there was something more than professional going on.
That's not my place to comment on.
So she just leaves her diary sitting around. This acceleration is a reaction to the stutters in time. In zero state, his wave function is further disrupted by the excessive chronon energies within his body. The lack of stutters help keep it in check. And if he does become a shifter, I don't know what to do about it. We haven't been able to help Dr. Kim. I don't know what we could do for Paul.
Just one of you. Rick. Look, you have to realize you're not going to keep me from the CFR. You don't look like you're in any shape for this. Have it your way. Of course he's gonna.
Oh, he's disabled my powers. That's why it's an epic fight. He has a jammer. Oh, I can't even use the vision. Okay. It's kind of a boring fight when I have unlimited health and he doesn't. It's just the nature of the.
Don't do it, man. Just stay down.
Fuck you. I've got too much riding on this. You're not going anywhere.
Seeing that face put it into perspective. They were all misled, manipulated to believing they were doing what was right, what was necessary.
Liam Burke made his choice.
Liam Burke was an unnecessary casualty, one of way too many. They'd stockpiled all the chronon particles from Ground Zero to keep the lifeboat running.
Enough to hopefully last until a proper solution was discovered.
The lifeboat revolved around the countermeasure. He knew Will would try to take it back. That's why he was killed. He knew I'd try to do the same eventually.
Clearly, he was right.
Because there seems to be a certain lack of clarity about when it's appropriate for someone to enter the CFR chamber and mess with the chronon field regulator. And because I just had to fire Kevin Janeway because he did that exact thing, let me remind you of the approved CFR procedure. You do not touch the CFR, period. I may touch the CFR because I'm the lead technician in charge of it. Dr. Sylvia Amaral may touch the CFR because she's our head of research and she knows what she's doing. Mr. Paul Serene may touch the CFR because he's Paul fucking Serene and it's his CFR. Nobody else touches the CFR. Just wanted to take a closer look at it. Very, very professional email there, Lauren. All right. And now here I go touching the CFR.
Fiona, I'm at the CFR chamber. Door's locked.
Oh, no biggie.
Way above my access level. But since my friend disabled security earlier, I should be able to do this. Listen, I don't really know what the plan is, but it's all up to you now. Good luck.
It was like walking into a shrine. This was their holy relic.
There'd been some kind of struggle in the chamber. I didn't know the details. Somebody cleaned it up.
A man named Charlie Wincott. I believe he chose to take a stand. Unfortunately, it ended badly for him.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems to be that kind of work environment.
Who cleaned it up? That's weird. I guess, is that the hint that Hatch is still alive? Or did Liam do it? God, this is super long. But I mean, that one note that I read that was from Martin explaining that he is a time traveler who became a shifter and his reason, like, there are clearly things that are important not to skip, so I feel obligated to read this. So this is from several years ago. This is Dr. Kim before he got changed. This thing feels like a conundrum wrapped in a puzzle. It's just a puzzle. It's an incredible piece of technology, and I feel like we're only scratching the surface of what it can do. We've already learned so much. I thought I had a good understanding of the intricacies of chronon particles and their practical applications. Now I realize that I've still got a great deal to learn. The chronon field regulator, as I've decided to call it, is a little miracle. How such a small device can do so much is beyond me. How did Will create this, by the way? just wondering. I know it taps into the Meyer-Joyce field, but I don't know how. My experiments just show that it can do it. It can also manipulate the field. I wish I knew how. Still, the mechanics of its operation give me ideas. New avenues of thought I've been trying to find for such a long time. The task that I've been set by Mr. Serene has, frankly, stumped me for years. Knowing that what we observe as the passage of time is just the result of chronon particles being constantly generated within the Meyer-Joyce field is a simple fact that I've been aware of for a long time, but being able to manipulate those particles in a meaningful way, well, it's another question. The mechanics of the situation are clear, almost frustratingly so. In a zero-state environment, there are no chronon particles and thus time is frozen. The idea of artificially flooding an area with chronon particles to enable the passage of time is the obvious solution, but actually finding a way to do that, that's something else. Not only are chronon particles incredibly difficult to source, so obtaining enough to actually, quote, stutter-proof an area from any time longer than a fraction of a second has always seemed impossible. Perhaps even more importantly, the mechanism of manipulating the particles in a way that would allow me to define a certain volume of space as stutter-proofed has constantly eluded me. Well, Ground Zero has solved the former problem for us. We're almost up and running, and very soon we will have the ability to harvest chronon particles at useful rates. We'll be able to build a truly formidable stockpile of them in the years to come. As for the latter problem, manipulating the chronon particles, that seems to be something the CFR does with ease. Its ability to tap into the Meyer-Joyce field and effect changes in its topology is exactly what I need. Unfortunately, I don't know how it does it. I don't have a clue. I don't know how to effectively control these effects, but my research into the practical effects of its operation has given me ideas for a different kind of chronon technology that works on a somewhat similar principle. Except, okay, and this is just, he's talking about the suits. Suits, okay. Still many challenges. Significant volume will unacceptably high drain of chronon particles, which are a limited resource. Years, many decades is a critical issue. Mr. Serene made it quite clear to me. Frankly, even with Mr. Hatch backing me, the thought of disappointing Serene over this makes me quite anxious. I understand his concerns, and they are, of course, entirely founded, but the man's intensity is unnerving. In any case, I'm hopeful that I will figure out this problem soon. I'm hoping to be able to use the CFR itself to regulate the flow of chronon particles. Given its nature, I suspect it may be eminently suitable for such a role in the Lifeboat project. And cut down our chronon consumption rate by a great margin. My control over the CFR is limited, but this seems to be a very basic functionality for it, so I'm optimistic that I can do it. I'm still looking into it, one thing at a time. We've already made great progress, and I will say that Mr. Serene's been quite complimentary with these successes, so I think he'll give us the time we need. Well, it's not like he has much choice in the matter. I'll be honest, the CFR is becoming a bit of an obsession for me. I wish I could sit down and have that conversation and just ask those questions. How did he build it? What's it actually for? But I've been denied that opportunity. Part of me wants to open the CFR and get to the bottom of it, but the potential consequences terrify me. We've already seen what it can do if unleashed. Even worse, there's a possibility that I couldn't put it back together. And just the idea of making a mistake like that is a positively bowel liquefying thought. Having to explain that to Mr. Serene? No, thank you. So as it is, I have only dared to open up a bit of the casing to get a rough idea of the engineering inside. It's amazing work, and it has certainly been a lesson in humility for me. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm a very fast learner. This has to me the most important work anyone has ever engaged in the history of humanity. If we succeed in our mission, the world will not soon forget the name of Dr. Henry Kim. So that was only a little bit important. Data Samurai. Alright, without further ado.
It took 11 years for Will to build the countermeasure. Beth died for it, and I knew it could fix the fracture.
This fucking thing.
The problem was, I didn't have a clue how to use it. The only person who did was dead. But Monarch had a way of getting to him before that ever happened.
The University time machine. They've got the core here.
Monarch had built their own time machine above the CFR chamber. That's where I needed to go.
You still believed you could go back and save your brother?
Yes.
So the play here is go back in time. He's saying to like save his brother. But what's gonna happen instead? This has got to be a skill point, right? No, they're done. There's no more in the game. We're really going back in order to get the information, not in order to save the brother. According to everything that we've seen, that shouldn't be possible. In fact, it shouldn't be possible that we even, like, show up in that cutscene.
Paul took the core of the time machine from the university, hooked it up to his own machine. It was part of his sick desire for control. But that gave me one last shot at fixing things. I could go back. Maybe get to Will before Paul killed him. And if I could get the countermeasure in Will's hands, maybe I could still turn everything around.
Or maybe I'm the reason that it all broke in the first place. The Red Queen's race. Is that what it's called? The trope where you run and run just to stay in the same place?
The core was set, the machine was prepped. I had to put the corridor in place.
I wonder if we're going to get in a huge fight in a second.
Okay, this should do it.
Deploying the corridor. Phase 1 underway. Please clear all personnel.
Oh! Alright, well, that's why we have the sniper rifle. Isn't somebody else here, is there?
Shotgunner advancing on hostile.
Oh. Let's get to safety.
Assaulting Joyce.
Phase 2 of corridor deployment complete. Final corridor deployment initiated.
Oh, maybe I can't shoot through that. Also, I did not get the sniper. Oh, are some of these guys not stutter-proof?
Engage target! Official.
That's bad.
Gotta move.
I need to get rid of this guy. Good. Oh, there's another.
Oh.
I think that was a waste. I didn't get anybody.
Take down!
That's my cue.
Friendly can't move! Move round!
The last guy? That was the last guy.
Oh, you're welcome, you very slow machine lady.
The machine was ready. I just needed to put in the date. The earliest I could go back to was the time that the core was first activated. At the university.
Not much time to rescue your brother.
I didn't have a choice.
You better be as advertised.
No, no. Return to the university. Do we remember seeing ourselves in Act 1? I don't think so. We saw the two Pauls.
Targets have escaped the lab!
What's up, fellas?
Oh, shit! HQ, we've got an intruder in the lab. Core extraction team is down, over.
All of them? How? Joyce's!
We're moving in.
Open fire. But avoid damage to the core at all costs.
So it's cute. These
I got
guys
there
are
after the fracture
pushovers.
initiated. Too late to stop it all before it ever started.
But not too late to save Will. All you had to do was get to him in time.
Yeah, that was the plan.
HQ, we've got security footage of the Joyce brothers escaping through the server room on the lower level.
Raider Team 3, intercept immediately. Ready another extraction unit to remove the core.
Up here, maybe?
It's locked. Gotta find another way out of here.
First skill point in ages.
All right.
That gives me 3. feel like the time shield is really important. So we'll get one more, and then I'll upgrade my time shield.
Okay, gotta get to the library. Have to reach Will before
Our
it's too
team,
late.
ready the heavies in the underground parking. I'm not hearing any response from Raider Team 3. We may have a situation.
Where the hell is that extraction team? We were supposed to have the core loaded in that chopper by now.
Patch was right. Should have sent Liam Burke in first to deal with those Joyce assholes.
Directive was take alive if possible. Alive ain't Burke's calling card. Seriously.
Raider Team, target spotted exiting the service elevator.
Is that me doing that? Why is it so slow the first couple of times? Is it because time is slowed down?
I remember that Will and I were heading to the courtyard when the stutter hit. That's where I needed to cut him off.
Oh, the stutter just happened.
Courtyard. How do I get there?
Yeah. Rather that. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Where am I headed again? Up there, over there. Nope. Oh, alright. So I run and jump. I haven't had us use this rewind power in a while. Or do I freeze it? Nope, freezing it does not work. Oh, I'm not supposed to get on it. I'm supposed to just run. I suppose that's fair. I gotta wait a second for... Ooh. Oh, he's not a real person. We're still inside the stutter, so nobody else counts. Oh, way the hell over there. We're getting the hang of it. 3 Mass Effects later, I'm finally using my abilities. That's how it goes. There is one more guy alive over here, right? There he is. Still more? Somewhere? Oh, a bunch more.
When Will and I had escaped from the lab after the experiment,
oh, because
it
this.
seemed like Monarch was dealing with somebody other than us. That was me, all along.
HQ, Striker team is down. This is Joyce.
Ah. My bad. Underestimating the weaklings who aren't able to move inside the stop time like me. Is this the whole fight over again? Because if so, I'll do it even better. You watch. Alright. I can't climb up that way.
Gotta move.
Ow, 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 ow. Oh! I am all out of bullets. Alright. Where was there an ammo backpack? I saw one or two sitting around the level. The last one alive is the big guy. Oh, oh, oh. No. Don't you do it. Don't you kill me. Got him, right?
When Will and I had escaped from the lab after the experiment, it seemed like Monarch was dealing with somebody other than us. That was me, all along.
No, they're still gonna kill me. I'm about to die exactly the same way.
Fucking hell, we underestimated him. Take him out, whatever it takes.
Damn it, wasn't there a guy right here? What a jerk, he lived.
Target's disappeared. Over. Roger that. Sweep the area. Don't.
Okay. Black blood.